Hi, I'm George from NBI Hockey,
And I'm Brody from BroalieTalksHockey.
and welcome back to Winning on Paper, our Central Division preview. This will be very similar to the Metro. Besides I guess we could talk about the first two games of the Stanley Cup final. I mean, this is going up, I think, on Saturday. So Game 3 would have already happened, which is tonight as we're
hmm
recording this. But I guess we talk about the first two games. Why not? Florida looks rough.
Yeah, that was
Vegas in five, baby.
the one thing I said coming into this series. I don't know if I said it on here or on Instagram or talking to somebody, but I know I said it at one point. So I'm just going to take credit for it. Um, I knew Florida didn't really match up well against Vegas. Like Vegas, they're not a one-dimensional team at all. Like they score, they're they have the highest PDO out of any playoff team in the 21st century. So that's something.
Yeah,
They get lots of shots and they get lots of saves like that. Like obviously it's luck, but if you have it on, you have it on, and you're gonna be better. So like there's no doubt in my mind that Vegas is just so much better. And as soon as Bobrovsky crumbled, I think it was game two he got yanked.
oh yeah.
I think it's pretty much it's only two games in, but I think it's safe to say it's over for Florida. Unless you win these next two, you're done.
Yeah. Looking at something, I forget who pointed this out to me. But Vegas in these playoffs have scored 56 even strength goals or goals on 5-on-5, and the next highest team is Dallas with 37.
Yeah.
Um, that's pretty. That's crazy. I mean, obviously they lead in goals per 60 as well. 3.6 goals for 60. Seattle is 2.8. So like they're almost a full goal every 60 minutes ahead of everybody 5-on-5. And
Yeah.
like they're fourth in expected goals. So like it's not like they're like obviously they're outshoot like their PDO is high, but it's not like they're like not generating offense
Right.
at a high rate. Like they should still be in the top like four or five teams. Their power play hasn't been very good, but like 5-on-5 they've been easily the best team in these playoffs.
Right.
At
Yeah.
least offensively. And that's obviously contributing a lot to their success because Florida just can't handle it. Like they're just getting outbeat 5-on-5, and that's where most of the games being played. Because as the playoffs go on, less penalties are called, so being a better 5-on-5 team is important.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
And Nick, we saw that in the Dallas series too. Like Vegas just kind of outplayed them. I mean, obviously Dallas has a super. They're second in 5-on-5 goals too, but uh, Vegas just kind of controlled play in that series as well, and they're clearly doing it in this one. So I don't know. I think Florida still has a shot. I mean, they came back 3-1 against Boston when nobody said they had a shot. So
That is true.
maybe Spencer Knight comes in and wins the Conn Smythe. Yeah,
Maybe.
there you go. Yeah. But I think we can put to bed the Sergei Bobrovsky is the Conn Smythe winner, no matter what argument. Now, I don't even think he'd be the Conn Smythe winner if Florida ends up winning the cup.
I'd give it to
I think it's
Kachuk.
it's it's pretty well Kachuk at this point, which is crazy
Yeah.
because 2 games ago we were basically ready to hand it to him regardless of what happened in the finals. And uh, yeah, I think I saw somewhere else too that like every goalie Vegas has played in the playoffs is like a sub 900 save percentage or something like that. I can't remember if that's exactly true, but it's pretty close to being correct.
Like their
Um,
goalies or the goalies they
no, like every
faced?
goalie they played
Oh, okay.
is like has a sub 900. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Either way, they've been like torching good goalies all playoffs. Maybe not Hell. I don't think Hellebuck has sub 900, but he would have been like he was in like the 9-0
He was very
range.
close.
Yeah, so like that,
I
like
might.
it's insane. I'll get you to look that up because I'm not 100% sure, but it was something like that.
I'm
Like
looking
their
it up.
their goalies have been they've been
Connor
outstanding.
Hellebuck
You just
was
gotta
a. Oh, they don't have
because
playoff stats here. Are you kidding me?
they should on if you go to Evolving Hockey, you can sort by it
Yeah, evolving hockey's save percentage is weird. I don't know why.
because it's not even like at fully it does it per game. Like it does I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't count like if you do per game, it counts overtime goals as like an extra game. Like I don't know, it's strange. It's weird. I don't get it.
Okay. Well,
Even if
I'm
you do
looking at.
totals, like it's you get like decimals. I don't understand how that works. Well, looking that up, I'm going to fill airtime by telling everybody to follow the podcast everywhere. I know I usually say it at the end of the podcast, but there's probably a lot of people who don't listen the whole way through. So I'm going to say it 5 minutes in. Go follow the podcast on everything, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and follow us on Instagram as well. There you go. How you doing with those stats there, Brody?
You would be correct to say
Okay.
that every goalie's below
Yes,
900 because Hellebuck had an
Perfect.
886.
Yeah, and I
No,
know
8.
Ottinger was below 900 as well, and I'm pretty sure Skinner and Campbell both were.
Ottinger's 8943, so he was very close. Skinner was 880, and Campbell was 96, but in the series he was probably lower.
Yeah. There we go.
Campbell actually has the best save percentage in the playoffs.
That's
in his 4 games. But Aiden Hill second, so
yeah.
Aiden Hill, Conn Smythe, question mark?
I'd probably go Eichel at this point, but I think there's an argument to be made for Aiden Hill as well.
I think I'd probably go Eichel or Hill, but I think it'll go to Marcia, so. Because
okay.
I don't think he maybe deserves it, but I think every time people are watching, he scores a big goal, and I think that's a big thing for the voters.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So
it's the
I think
Williams
that could be
effect,
it.
Right? Like when Williams won it in 2014.
Right. He scored that Game 7 OT winner, so.
Yeah. He scored every Game 7 OT winner ever. It's insane. Yeah. He retired with an undefeated record Game 7, right?
I think he did.
That's still hold up, yeah. And I think he has a goal in like most of them. Like it's insane. Anyway,
here's a question I want to pose.
No, Justin Williams is not a Hall of Famer.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not Justin
That was
Williams
a debate.
related.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that debate when he retired?
How long ago would that have been? How many years?
Like, I don't know, 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that debate. But no.
It was crazy. Like, that's insane. Anyway.
That's like people are saying if Bobrovsky wins a cup. What do you think about Bobrovsky?
Worth it. Like,
No, Hall of Fame.
I think he has a better argument than Justin Williams does.
I think he does, but
2 Vezinas and a cup.
Yeah.
Assuming going into these playoffs, he would have had a Conn Smythe too. That's not a terrible resume for voter, right? Like voting, I wouldn't vote for him. But I think we can get into a whole like Hall of Fame podcast discussion. Whenever they come up with the Hall of Fame ballot, we'll do that because that's a fun topic.
Okay, we'll do that then.
But yeah, like my Hall of Fame credentials are different than the NHL's. I have a very vague but also very vague, but also very selective definition.
Yeah.
For the Hall of Fame, it's hard to explain without like talking about it for half an hour. But no, I probably wouldn't put Bobrovsky in the Hall of. His argument becomes quite interesting now if he does.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have and I mean it's not completely his fault because the NHL hasn't played in international play in 10 years, but he doesn't have any like international success, which I think matters to some degree. But he also hasn't like played any international hockey, so
yeah,
it's kind of like it's really hard because like McDavid's not going to have McDavid should have 2 gold medals right now, right? Like,
yeah,
but we haven't been to the Olympics in 10 years, so or at least like maybe not 2 gold medals, but he'd have 2 medals, right? Like, it's just like even Crosby, right? Like if Crosby had if he had 4 gold medals and 3 Stanley Cups right now, the debate for him being like a top 5 player ever is a lot stronger, but we haven't seen international hockey for 10 years. So anyway,
yeah,
maybe whenever the next Olympics, when are they? 2026? Maybe. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
2026. Yes. Okay.
3 years.
Maybe he'll get something. We'll see them. I mean, Crosby might not even make that team, but that's a whole another thing. Anyway, are we good to move on to the?
I am ready to move on. Yep.
After the 9-minute tangent we just went on.
Yep.
The Arizona Coyotes. This is a good place to start. We're gonna do alphabetical as well. If you didn't watch the last episode, go watch it. It's good.
Yep.
Arizona. Did they have anybody big free agent wise?
I'm guessing unless it was a cap dump, probably not.
Christian Fisher and Connor Ingram.
Oh, Connor Ingram. Got to get him locked up, you know?
Yeah.
He's actually
I like Connor Ingram.
And he's pretty active on Twitter, which is kind of nice and funny sometimes.
He's 26. I don't mind that as a thought. Him and like they kind of got a good like Kirill and Connor as their goalie pairing going into next year, I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel he's an RFA too, so like so is who else did I just mentioned? Christian Fisher. He's an RFA too, so like
And
that's
Michelli.
fine.
Michelli's one you got to get
Oh, yeah.
signed.
Yeah, Jack McBain, Brett Ritchie, could probably just not worry about at all.
Yeah.
The most interesting name on the this team. Wow, they have no defenseman locked up after next season.
Well, Shea Weber has another 3 years.
Hey, there you go. Fair enough. That's crazy, actually. Like, wow. Yeah, Arizona's gonna be a team that's gonna go through like a major like roster change in like next season. This team's gonna look completely different.
Well, yeah, and they might be in a different city too.
Oh yeah, hey, or a different state or country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Country.
continent, maybe. Maybe they'll be in like maybe they'll be the first
Sweden.
team to play into London. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Yeah. Uh, the biggest name here is obviously Clayton Keller with the tweet from his dad that I think was claimed to be like a hack or something.
Yeah.
Um, but like okay, uh,
Yeah.
sure. But
All
like
right, buddy.
regardless, Clayton Keller's name should come up in trade talk. So should Nick Schmaltz. Um, who I could fit on like 15 different teams right now because Nick Schmaltz rocks.
Yeah, I
So
thought he
does
was going
Clayton
to get
Keller.
moved at the deadline, actually. Schmaltz.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with that is the length of the deal, like the 5 point, what is it, 5.85 for
Yeah.
3 more years. Was hard. Like I thought he'd be a great fit for the Rangers, but that money is just kind of hard to move if they're not going to move like a Lafreniere in that deal, which they wouldn't. Yeah,
Right.
Nick Schmaltz fits in a ton of places. Like Colorado, again, we're gonna put centers on Colorado forever. Um, but like if I think Nick Schmaltz would rock in Colorado, especially at 5.8 mil for 3 years. Um, but yeah, Clayton Keller's a big one. Do you think he gets traded?
No,
Okay.
I don't
Well,
think
that's the
so.
podcast, guys. Thanks for listening.
I don't think he's going to get traded because I feel like that's one guy who's been like your identity for the last couple
Mhm.
years. And you don't
Sure.
sometimes like it might be smart to trade him, but you just shouldn't sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Like it might
I
be
mean,
like
unless he wants
we
out.
could get a lot of value for him, but if he doesn't want
Mhm.
out, you're never gonna move him.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he has a good contract. Like that's a pretty like that's enticing for
7.1
every
for
team.
what is it, another 5 years? Yeah,
5.
7.1 for 5 years. Yeah. I mean, so like Chitrin's contract was enticing too, but I guess he wanted out, so that's
Yeah.
slightly different. Lawson Krause is the only other player on this team with more than a year's worth of term, so we might as well talk about him as well. Well, forward wise, obviously they have Kirill, but they're not going to trade him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they will. I don't know. Lawson Krause probably not worth 4.3 mil for
Definitely
four
not.
years. I don't know if that contract's movable.
He just got signed to it last year too.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for the Coyotes it doesn't matter, but like
Right.
they have like 20 million dead cap on their like salary next season, so I don't
Yeah,
think they care. But
they don't need to get to the cap floor.
yeah, I think the big thing for this team though is in the next 3 seasons they have 4 first-round picks, they have 9 second-round picks, and they have 9 third-round picks
Yeah.
in the next 3 years. That is a lot of draft capital they can use, and they have a pretty good prospect pool already.
Yeah, they do.
So like let's say they hit on like 4 of those guys even. Like out of those like 18, 19 to 22 picks, they hit like 4 like first line / first pair defensemen. Or like you know what I mean, right? Like top 6 forwards, top 4 defensemen, like they hit like 4 or 5 guys in that. Like that's your
Yeah.
team.
And it's
And that's
not like
like
this year
that's
it's
still
not like
impossible.
it's all late picks either. Like that Ottawa picks number what is it, 11 or 12?
Something like that, yeah. I mean Arizona's pick is like what are they picking? They're picking
6.
6? Yeah, 6. So like
They
that's
could get Mitchkov too.
yeah. Yeah, I mean the second there'll probably be some good guys dropping the second too. That second's gonna be pretty high.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot here. And like a batting average of like 15% on these picks gets you a really, really good core in 3
Right.
years. That's not hard to do. Like, that's not an impossible task.
No.
So for a team that's going to look really different in 3 years, it could look really good in 3 years, and it's going to look really good in Houston too. So yeah. I guess we kind of have to talk about like the Coyotes move. I know we kind of like touched on it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm
But like,
the more time goes on, I'm less and less convinced they'll get moved. Like it's like
they're not gonna get moved.
they're gonna do everything to keep them in Arizona.
Yeah, and like I get it. Like I understand, and a lot of people don't get like the business side of this, but like everybody's like, "Oh, you should move them to Quebec." It's like no, because that makes no sense financially. Like yes, the NHL would sell more tickets in Quebec. That is
With the
true.
Canadian dollar.
But like they just signed a US TV deal, and moving a team to Canada is going to make that TV deal worse. Because that's not how like money works. Like that the less teams in the States is going to make it less viable to watch games in the state. Like that's just I'm not using the correct words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact it'd get like at least $1 billion from Quebec in expansion, all of which goes directly to the league. Whereas selling the Coyotes for like 600 mil, none of that money, like almost none of that money goes into the league because they're selling it from one owner to another.
Yeah.
The NHL takes a bit, but it's not a huge cut. Whereas like expansion, like 100% of that goes back to the league. It's just, it doesn't make sense to move them to Canada. Now, moving them somewhere like Utah makes sense because it's a small market who probably wouldn't have $1 billion to throw at a expansion team.
Right.
Which is why Winnipeg got the Thrashers, by the way, instead of expanding. They were never in the expansion conversation because like the ownership group just wouldn't be able to handle it.
I'm not yeah, but David Thompson's like the fourth richest sports owner.
Sure, but it's why like Winnipeg got the Thrashers instead of Quebec. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Or Houston or a Vegas or Seattle or like any of these other like bigger cities, not necessarily as hockey markets, but bigger in scope of population and finances, etc. So yeah, like I don't like Arizona's not going to Quebec. Just stop it.
Yeah.
If I had to put money though, if it's not Arizona, I think it's gonna be Utah.
I think so too. They seem very like it was so quick for it to come out. Like nobody really mentioned Houston, but like it's
Kansas
always
City's kind of interesting too. I like Kansas City.
If Mahomes is gonna come to games, he would be stupid.
He goes to Blues games already.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Hey,
but like if he's endorsing,
NHL, you got to have like use Patrick Mahomes for something next season. Like just have him on like TV. Like, come on, it's right there. Like, he likes the sport already. He goes to games in a city that is not the team that he plays for.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Hell, like put a team in Kansas City and make him a partial owner. Like, just get him involved somehow. I don't know what the legality of that is. Well, I mean, it's got to be fine. LeBron owns part of Vegas, so like, you got to be able to.
Doesn't he own part of Pittsburgh?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, it's who owns part of Vegas? Is it Gronk? It might be Gronk. It owns part of Vegas. There's some big like professional sports like personality that owns part of the Vegas Golden Knights. I think it's Gronk.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right though. LeBron owns part of the Penguins. Either way, like it's to get Patrick Mahomes involved if you're going to put the team in Kansas City. Like it would be a waste of an opportunity not to do that. But yeah, as for Arizona, take Michkov.
Take Dvorsky. He's not going to be available at 6. He's going at 5.
That's right. He's going to Montreal. No, take Michkov and target a bunch of 1-year rental guys you can flip at the deadline.
Yeah,
that's the plan. Which is what they did this year, which is good. Like I like that. I think being able to sell, like kind of like the second wave of free agents, be like, hey, we'll pay you like twice what you're worth. We'll give you $3 million instead of 1.5, and then we'll eat half of it and trade you wherever you want to go to a playoff team in February. It's a really good pitch, and you get to live most of the season. You get to live like the cold months in Arizona.
Yeah,
and play second line minutes. Like it's actually like that was the pitch to Max Domi, or that's what Chicago pitched to Max Domi, and it worked.
Yeah,
it's like we're gonna pay you probably more than you're worth right now because he got what $3 million, which was you know, he probably wasn't a $3 million player at the time.
Yeah,
and then they played him with Patrick Kane for a year. and then he got to go to a contending team that went to the Western Conference Final. Like it's a good pitch. That's what the Coyotes and that's what they did last year, and it worked. So do it again.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Chicago Blackhawks, look at that transition. The Chicago Blackhawks, who also have a boatload of picks. They actually have more first-round picks. They have 6 in the next 3 years, for eight in 8 seconds and 5 thirds in the next 3 seasons. So still a ton of assets here for Chicago. They have 1 player signed beyond the next 2 seasons.
And he was just signed yesterday. Oh no, never mind.
No.
2.
I'm
They
talking
have 2
about
players.
who's the other one?
Another defenseman.
Connor Murphy only has 3 years.
Yeah, you said past 2. 3's more than 2.
Oh. Okay. Oh, because okay, cap friendly reset. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one being Seth Jones, obviously, who may or may not be traded soon. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
No.
That'd be fun.
Definitely not, but maybe.
Yeah, talk about a team that's going to have a complete facelift in 2 years. The
Yeah.
Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, obviously getting Connor Bedard
Maybe.
is huge.
If they pick him.
Hey, I mean, yeah, who knows?
If they'd pick me, it'd be unbelievable.
Could you imagine if they don't pick Connor Bedard?
Imagine if they go Michkov. How funny would that be? I would laugh.
That'd be really funny. I mean, they did just go through the whole Panarin thing, so
yeah.
Hey, if any team's gonna do it, why not us? Yeah, but Bedard's gonna look really good on this team, and whatever other ragtag group of pending UFAs they decide to fill the roster with around him, will also probably look better than they should.
Yep. You want to know who my target is?
Who?
Tyler Bertuzzi.
Okay.
As a free agent target. I like him. I think he'd be good to play with Bedard. Because, that's a guy... Because Bertuzzi is obviously not nearly as skilled, but, he's chippy. Bedard's a little chippy. Be a good line. Him and Athanasiou. Bertuzzi, Bedard, the ABC line. I already got the nicknames.
Who's the C on that line?
Connor Bedard.
Oh, so you're just going Athanasiou, Bertuzzi, Connor?
Yes. Okay. Or the act line. We could do the act line too. That works.
There you go. I like that one better, I think.
Or Bab. Bab's good too. Hire Mike Babcock.
Yeah, they should have hired Mike Babcock instead of Columbus.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect. I don't mind that actually, because Chicago's not going to be the worst team in the NHL next season, even if they try to be. Connor Bedard will get them probably at least to 27th, 28th, right?
Yeah,
they're not going to be. I think 27th is a reasonable place to put them, because there's some bad teams, man.
That is true.
Arizona, unless they do something crazy, is going to be worse. Because Logan Cooley's not coming.
Yeah.
And so they have no incentive to build around anything. They can just kind of be bad again. San Jose is probably going to be worse than Chicago. Philly should be, if they do the thing right. I guess that's kind of it. Hey,
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Montreal would be worse than this team.
No. I mean, Montreal was better with an AHL roster this season, half their team injured. So
yeah.
I guess Columbus probably won't be, especially now.
Yeah, they're gonna get Smith.
Trade, by the way.
Yeah, that was weird.
We just passed on that. Are we gonna talk about any of this? No, we're not. We'll talk about that when we cover LA. Why not? We'll save that one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago might be bad.
I think so. They should go for Celebrini anyway. No, they should. They should not be bad this year, and then be bad next year, and then draft Gavin McKenna, Bedard's cousin.
Is he supposed to be super high? I haven't looked at that draft at all.
Gavin McKenna, yeah, he was sick in the AHL or the Dub this year. He's playing for Medicine Hat already.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Hey, that'd be fun. Um, yeah, Chicago prediction. Or yeah, Arizona. First of all, prediction terrible, right? Like
Yeah, seventh or
seven,
eighth.
7 to 8. Okay,
Yeah,
Chicago.
7 to 8.
7 or 8. All right, perfect. Um,
That was quick.
yep. All right, the Colorado Avalanche. This is an interest. This is probably maybe the second most interesting team in this division going to this offseason.
Wait, we didn't say who
Would you
Chicago
agree?
should draft.
Yeah, we did. This is the first thing we said.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
I made sure to explicitly cover that first. Um, David Reinbacher. That's who they should take.
Yes,
They need a defenseman, so
they need
um,
everything.
they do.
Michael Hrabal.
So, yeah, there you go. All right, Colorado, second most interesting team in this division going into the summer. Yes,
I
you
think
agree?
it's the first most interesting because the Jets aren't going to do anything.
But like in potential to do stuff.
Okay, potential to do
There.
stuff. They're the second most. Yeah.
If we take out the Kevin Shoveldale factor
Yes,
and just
it's
assume
the
they're not
second
going to
most.
extend Hellebuck and Scheifele,
Yeah, and Dubois,
Colorado's the most. Yeah, well, he said today he's not going to sign an extension in Winnipeg. So,
dude,
uh, hey, you
hurts.
never know. They might just hold on to him for the year just to see, make sure. Because you never know, right? You don't know until you try.
Yeah,
Uh, could
run
you
it
imagine
back.
if they just held on to everybody and then everybody leaves next summer? That'd be really funny. I know you're a Jets fan, but that'd be hilarious.
That would. That
That'd
would.
be like the ultimate like stay of incompetence by a GM. That might be the most incompetent thing a GM's ever done in like the history of the NHL. If like
It would be.
every single one of their pending UFAs just walks that summer after explicitly telling the team they would not re-sign the summer before, and they
No,
just run it back
at
anyway.
least one has to get moved. It has to
That would
happen.
be so funny. I kind of want that to happen now. Anyway, the Colorado Avalanche. Biggest need for the Avalanche is a second line center, correct?
Yeah, I would agree.
And then probably it's the actual starting goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who I want? As much as like we're gonna find, and we've talked about center, like every time a center's come up, we've put them on the Avalanche, or I've put them on the Avalanche.
Yeah.
My free agent target for the or my like off season target for the Colorado Avalanche is John Gibson. That's who I want them to get
Hmm.
because he fits their window. I think he goes to a good team. He takes a huge turnaround because like he's even just watching his body language the last 2 years. Like yeah, he's been worse, but like he just hasn't cared
Yeah.
at all. And both seasons, he's had decent starts to the year too, and then he just falls off a month into the year because the team sucks.
Yeah. The only problem with that is though, Colorado only has 12 guys under contract
Mm-hmm.
currently.
How long is Gibson? How much longer does Gibson have on his deal? It's not long.
Well, they only have
And it's
13 mil
cheap.
in cap for 12 guys
Okay, I
for
lied.
10
John Gibson's
guys.
contract is another 4 seasons, including next season. At 6 mil though, so like 6 mil is not bad.
Yeah. But
So
Chicago
like
or
you
Colorado
move,
has a decent goalie prospect already.
yeah, but
Maybe
for a
not
year, like
decent. Maybe all
I
right.
mean, you move Gerard in that deal at 5. That basically covers that cap. Like Gerard has to go this summer.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
There's just no like so you trade Gerard, you have to like you're taking on $1 million in cap to get Gibson for the same length of a contract too. It's at 4 years, so like that kind
Okay.
of works out.
Yeah, if you do it
I,
that way,
I
it does.
don't I don't think you have to give up much more than you did for like uh that they did in the Grubauer. Who won the cup with them last year?
Kemper.
Kemper. Yes, you don't have to give up more than you did in the Kemper trade. I don't feel.
They gave up a B prospect and a second in that trade.
Yeah, I think you might have to give up your first this year. Maybe
Oh, they can't do that though. Ah, maybe they have to, but
you kind of have to. Like, see, like Colorado and Tampa Bay are kind of in similar. Well, Colorado's kind of in the place that Tampa Bay was like last summer, where you just kind of have to go all in on the score.
yeah,
But Colorado's got a much better prospect pool going into it.
yeah, they do.
So
Like they
them
have a lot of
giving up a
trade chips
first,
too.
yeah, whether it's this year or next year, like they probably have to move that pick. for Gibson, but I think that's like it. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it costs much more than that. And then Girard, but you don't have to move Girard to Anaheim. You can move him somewhere else. And I don't think you have to like you'll get something back for Samuel Girard. Like it's not like a cap. It will be a cap dump for Colorado, but they'll get assets back in that deal.
Yeah. Probably
Like
like
even if you get like a second back, let's say.
a second
Like
and a roster player is probably what my guess would
yeah,
be.
a cheap roster player. Like yeah.
Yeah, like
Um
I can't even think of a player right now, but
I can't think of anybody. Maybe like a Kyler Yamamoto type, but like slightly better. Like
yeah,
somebody in that kind of caliber, like a third line, like
or just sign him
forward.
after he gets bought out.
Yeah, shout out to Kyler Yamamoto, man. I think he'd actually work pretty well in Colorado. They should also go after
He would.
Puyarvi. I think that'd be fun.
That's the guy I
Um,
have for my target, actually.
who Yamamoto?
No, Puyarvi.
Oh yeah, no, Puyarvi. Like he rocks. Send him to Colorado. Would be fun. Obviously the Valerian Nichushkin situation.
Yeah, there was footage
Is
released the
also
other day, but
super
I didn't
interesting.
watch it.
I didn't see that either.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can't really. That doesn't help. Let's do a live watch along right now.
Yeah,
Valerian Nichushkin potentially assaulting somebody.
yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. I think that situation is going to be like they kind of have to wait to see what happens with that. I mean, from a pure like, let's look at this from a hockey perspective, right? 6.125 potentially off the books for what is it, a 5-year deal? Like from a hockey perspective, that kind of helps their cap situation. No,
Yeah,
as much as he's like a very good player, obviously, and I mean, like there's so many other things, but like I assume that if he does get convicted, the NHL will allow them to terminate that contract without buyout penalty because they've done that before, right? Like Evander Kane's contract did not cost the Sharks anything beyond that seat. Like they didn't have to. It wasn't a conventional buyout. I'd assume the NHL would do something similar to the Avalanche here,
right. Yeah,
which kind
I
of
could see
opens
that.
up like a ton of possibility for the Avalanche. Now, obviously, getting Valerian Nichushkin back as well would also be very good because he's an extremely useful hockey player.
Yeah,
It's just like that's kind of the thing the Avalanche have to wait for, and that's another reason why I think Gibson's an interesting fit because I don't know if that gets resolved in the first like couple weeks of July, and by that point, like a lot of the good goalies might be off the market.
right. Yeah, it is interesting this situation.
Yeah, I like. There's just a lot of pieces there, and I mean like they don't really need much else now. I mean, they need depth. Like half their like basically their entire bottom six is a free agent this summer. So like
Yeah,
that matters. Alex Newhook could be an interesting name for like an Anaheim if they wanted to move him
maybe
in
they
a
take a
in a
chance on Merkley, even though he's very old. Not very
yeah.
old, but
I mean, hey, like the former first round pick Allure is
it is high, and he's only 22 as a defenseman. You could totally talk yourself into
oh yeah, of course, especially if you're a
taking that.
rebuilding team. Absolutely you could.
Yeah,
Um yeah, for sure. I like the Avalanche have a lot of like flexibility here, and it's something that like Tampa didn't have. Tampa had to get super creative with their trades. I don't know if Colorado has to be that aggressively creative with their deals.
right. Because they don't. It's not like they need top end guys. They have that. They
No,
just
well that
need
too,
some
yeah,
bottom sixers. And
yeah.
Tampa
And yes, well
Bay,
besides the second line center and starting goalie, but
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you can get by
I
with
understand.
Georgiev if you have to. I'd say
I'd
second line
like to
center's
get
more glaring of a need for them.
yeah, and like maybe like a 1B goalie, which I think Gibson kind of would be at this point. Like I don't see Gibson playing 60 games.
Someone we could talk about, Semyon Varlamov, as an option.
Yeah, shout out.
I
Yeah,
think we've
last
talked
time he was
about
in
him every
Colorado,
take.
he he got kicked out of the NHL. So why
Wait,
not?
what?
Was that Colorado or Washington? Where did
What
he
did he
play last
do?
before he went
I
to
don't
the NHL?
remember.
He got I think it was like spousal abuse,
Oh,
and he got
that was
like
probably
booted from the
Washington.
NHL. It might have been one. It was wherever he was like before he left. Like it was a whole thing. It was like around when the Voinov thing happened.
How many years ago would that be? Like 5?
Oh, at least I think it was long. It might have been longer than that.
Oh, okay. I may
There
not
should there should
remember.
be a like.
I'll have to Google it.
Look up his hockey right now. Continue talking about the Colorado. Thorough, like now you have to fill some dead space.
Yeah. I'm going to actually plug myself here. Follow me
Okay.
on Instagram at BroalieTalksHockey while we look up these stats. It's going to become a new thing. When we look up something, we'll just give a plug. Like,
Yeah, sure.
someone sponsor us, we can plug you while we're looking up stats. I don't know what year it would have been, but I'm guessing it's Colorado unless it was in 2011. Semyon Varlamov, spousal abuse. Oh, my search
I
history is
don't.
going to look
No, I don't
weird.
think he might have not got kicked out then. I think the Avalanche might have just like let him go when he went to. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. Maybe it wasn't him.
He actually won 126 grand in that case.
Oh, okay. There you go. So he was
That's
just he was
crazy.
accused. No, obviously, like he wasn't
Yeah.
convicted. I'm
So it would have
assuming.
been like 2014. So he would have been on Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. I did not know that. But then again, I would have been like 10. So
Yeah. There
not
wasn't
going to
even
blame
like
myself.
a gap when he like didn't play either. I remember that being like a thing. I thought he like
No,
left.
he went right back to work. He's a real trooper.
So,
After an accusation, he gets right back to work. Grind don't
yeah,
stop, baby.
but I actually don't mind Varlamov as like a fit though.
No, I don't either.
I want to see John Gibson play in the playoffs. somebody trade for John. Somebody good trade for John Gibson,
Winnipeg.
please. You deserve. Okay.
Watch Shovel Day
Anyway.
Off just flip all the guys they need to trade for worse versions of those guys who have
Yeah,
term.
like Mark Scheifele for Kenny Kuznetsov.
Yeah. And Pierre-Luc
All right,
Dubois for
Colorado.
Josh Anderson.
Yeah, hey, no, that's it. Like, let me tell you, that is an upgrade. Do it. One for
Shut
one.
up.
I'm not giving you.
Shut up.
You
Get
can
out
have
of
the
here.
Florida pick. You can have the Florida pick in there too. Why not?
Wow. It goes from the 16th pick to like last.
Yeah,
It's not
well,
even
second
worth
last.
it. Well, yeah. You're right.
There you go. See, so we should trade for it now. Well, its value is higher.
They can't do that. Oh, no, they can.
That's how it works. That's how it works. They can. Neither team's at it. Neither team. Actually, I don't know if they can. No, you can trade that pick.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
LA made a trade and they were in the playoffs this year.
Yeah. No, but I'm just like, I don't know if like, because the Florida pick doesn't have a position yet. I don't know if, but yeah, obviously you can trade it. You just don't know if it's going to be 31 or 32.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be different because it doesn't matter in the
Yeah.
regular season.
It's just as long as you're out of the playoffs, you can make. I mean, technically, playoff teams can make trades too. It's just like more complicated. There's no like real, because like trades can still happen post the deadline. Like I don't think there's a trade freeze for teams in the playoffs.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know how that works. Because I know like if you make a deal post deadline, the player just cannot play on your roster the rest of the season.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that would be the same in the finals. Like if you trade for somebody, they just wouldn't play on your team. I don't
The
think
day that
there's
we
like a
see that
roster
would be
freeze.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, because I don't think there's a roster freeze for playoff teams.
Well, you set your roster, but like you just can't play players that are traded.
No,
So
that's
that's
what I
the
mean.
only
Like I don't know
freeze.
if there's like a trade freeze. I mean, is the
No,
because there
there's no
isn't
trade
like because you
freeze.
can make trades after the deadline, and I mean teams do that. We saw about like a couple this year.
Yeah.
And obviously LA and Florida or LA and Philly and Columbus just made the Provorov deal. So like that'd
Right.
be funny. I'd love to see that happen. To like just right now, like the Panthers just trade some. Imagine they trade somebody on the roster
They trade
for the
Bobrovsky.
summer.
Trade
They're
Bobrovsky for
just
a
like,
first before the series starts.
but he has to play.
See,
He
that's
play because he's on the roster.
yeah.
Actually, I don't know how that works. I think once you set your line, like guys on your active roster can't be moved. I think that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
And if you
But you
trade
can
for
call
somebody that
up if
can't be
you
added
need.
to your active, like your active roster is frozen.
Yeah, but you can call up though.
Not for guys you traded for post.
Oh
Deadline.
yes, but you can like.
Yeah.
But you
Yes.
have a taxi squad, so you won't need to call up anyway. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you can.
So I think it's just players who are on your. This is such a
This is a
tangent, but I don't
tangent,
think
yeah.
you can. I don't think you can trade for players who are on your active roster post the deadline. You can't trade them away until after the season, like until you get eliminated, until your season is considered over by the NHL.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. I don't know if
Okay.
that's correct, but we're gonna assume that's correct. Anyway.
Yeah.
Colorado.
I've got
Where are
a
they gonna
Colorado.
finish in the Central?
All right, they're finishing. Ooh, they could finish anywhere from first to third. I'm gonna go first to fourth. Actually, they have a wide range.
Yeah, I agree. First to fourth. That feels right.
Okay, and you want to hear
Mind
my
you, I thought they
draft
were going to
fit?
finish like. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Tanner Molindike. That you trade Gerard, you got your
Yeah, I like it.
replacement.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Do that.
Yeah.
He's so much fun. He's so much fun. Or if Simashev's still there, I think Simashev's a really good fit too. But I don't know if he'll
He
be there at that point.
he will be
But
drafted
he
by the
might be.
Hurricanes at some point.
Yeah, but Colorado's gonna pick ahead of Carolina.
Yeah, but Carolina has the right to
No.
draft every Russian.
Oh no, that's right. No, I don't think they will because Carolina. No, Carolina got eliminated in the third round. Yeah, no, Florida pick ahead or Colorado pick ahead.
Florida pick.
No, they're not gonna take like if Simashev's there, they're gonna take him over Melendek.
Yeah, they would, but
Yeah.
I just think Melendek's a fit.
Oh, for sure. I think both of them would work really
Both
well.
of
They
them
need
would work. Yeah.
pick a defenseman though. I agree. All right, the Dallas Stars, who kind of like proved that the Stanley Cup final run a couple years ago wasn't just like a fluke, and the score is actually like good. Question mark? Smile? Maybe.
Yeah, because I was doubting them too coming into the season.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were really anything, but here we are.
All right, Dadonov walks, right?
Yep, Domi stays.
Walks. Okay.
I think he stays. He played amazing, unless he just
Brooklyn
sells
Benyon
high on himself.
just lives in Detroit or Dallas, so he'll stay. Kiviranta will have to get re-signed because he's a legend.
Yep,
And Ty Dellandrea is going to get re-signed.
and Joel Hanley is going to get re-signed.
Yeah.
He's a G I've had on my other podcast before. Shout out Joel Hanley.
Oh, there you go. And Dylan Wells, I don't care.
Hey, he was a goalie drafted by Vegas. He's cool.
So 76 mil in cap hit.
In cap space.
In space.
I thought you were going to say in space. They got a lot of room.
So 7 mil in cap space for Ty Dellandrea and a bunch of like $1 million deals besides Domi probably gets like close to 2.53.
Yeah.
Dellandrea gets what, like 3.5 on like a bridge deal.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I have
Just like gives you like
I have a tangent.
It's kind of they might be in a little bit of cap trouble here.
Yeah.
Because that's all their money, and they need like 4 bottom 6 forwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on your tangent. Let's hear it.
Okay. What if you were an expansion team and you had the option to just sign free agents instead of like that? It was cheaper. Like it was like, let's say it was 500 million. You get an expansion team, but you have to sign them as free agents.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That's it.
That's my
What is it?
tangent. That I just thought about that right now. Like, I think that would be awesome. Personally,
I actually sidebar. I did something very similar to that in I think it was a NHL game a couple years ago. It was like a franchise mode. I like created a team and like it was like a 30-second team in the league, but I just had to pick players who like weren't in the NHL. So I built a team of guys who like used to be in the NHL. So I had like Plekanec and like Roman
Nick
Hammer like on it and stuff. Like yeah, like a bunch of like guys who are currently playing, like they're in Europe, but like I just brought them back. It was kind of like a ragtag group of like guys who nobody believed in, who were no longer in the NHL, and it was super fun. So yeah, there you go. Anyway,
that was a wild tangent.
yeah. All right, Dallas. Who's your target?
Somebody
trade?
cheap who can play on the third pair. But no, you don't even need that. You need a forward.
Yeah.
A cheap forward. A Kaylor Yamamoto. If he gets bought out.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. I can't believe they're gonna buy. That's crazy. Anyway.
That's stupid, but whatever.
I can't believe there's no market for. Like, I can't believe they got nothing for Puyari. Like, it's just, I don't know. The NHL's weird. What a strange league. Who do I like in Dallas?
As a draft pick or a signing?
No, as a sign. Where are they picking in the draft?
They're
They're
not
not
picking in the first.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know who I like in Dallas. Ryan Suter's probably gone, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna
probably
get rid of him. So that helps clear up some money. Jake Onger only has 2 years left in his contract. Wow. Okay.
You know who would be cool?
Who?
Teddy Bluger.
Okay. I like it.
Him and Faxa, you would not score goals on that line.
Where did
Just them
Bluger went to
two.
Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
He's
I
gonna win a
just
cup.
heard his name like 2 days ago.
He's from
I
Winnipeg.
like Teddy Bluger. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of Teddy Bluger. Teddy Hockey, baby.
I remember watching him 2 goals in his NHL debut against the Jets in Winnipeg on my birthday. What a horrible day. They got smoked 5-2. It was unbelievable.
I like that fit for Dallas. I think that's
Yeah.
they're kind of they have to be kind of in like the underrated player market.
Yeah.
Because
They
this is
can't
going to be like this is never going to happen. All right, I want to preface this by saying like the Dallas Stars are never going to do this.
to bring it.
But do you trade Jamie Benn this summer?
Oh, I would, but you're not going to be able to.
I don't know. Like
You
obviously
think?
not for $9 million. Like you're gonna have to
Okay.
eat like let's say they eat $3 million off that deal, and you move them for 6. There'd be a market.
There would be. And it's only 2 years.
Yeah.
And
Like I think that
then,
there's
yeah.
and like that 2 year like the 2 years of that, right? But like at the same time I don't think they have to because like the Ottinger deal expires when that deal goes away. So like, you can basically like replace like the 4 mil, like let's say Ottinger gets what, like 8 mil,
Yeah,
right? So
probably.
you're basically gonna clear like $5 million for that third season once if you like extrapolate like 4 mil from the Ben contract and give it to Ottinger. Like you're clearing up 5 mil when he leaves anyway, so you don't necessarily have to move that contract, but you could use that $6 million for 2 years to like strengthen this roster. You basically double your cap space going into this summer.
Yeah.
I think like, and you can get somebody better than like Jamie Benn's not great. He had a good year. Sell high.
Yeah,
They won't.
might as well. They won't, but you might as
They
well.
won't. But I think that's fine. I think there'd be a big enough market for him that they can make that work. They might not even have to eat like 3. They might be able to get away with 2 and sell them for 7 and get like they'd get less back, obviously, but or even like give some of that money to Arizona. Like make Arizona eat $3 million
Yeah.
for 2 years. Like the Coyotes probably do that for 2, especially because they're not going to get Kool-Aid, so they don't have to burn a year of his deals. But again, it wouldn't matter because like it's only 2 years. Like I think there's a lot of creative things they could do with Jamie Benn. They won't because he's their captain and he had a good year and they went to the conference final and they're going to run this team back and be not as
Right.
good next season. But like that's just the way it works.
Yeah. You want to know something cool?
Mhm.
Tangent. The Dallas Stars have 10 first-round picks on their roster.
Wow,
That's a lot.
that is a lot.
And Hintz and
Wow, okay.
Robertson were both seconds.
I probably should have been first, but that's no, it doesn't help your. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, where's Dallas finishing?
First, no, second or third.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
yeah, second or
second
third.
to fourth. That's kind of where I'm at here.
Yeah,
Second to, yeah, okay. There's kind of a log. It's the same kind of thing. There's a huge log jam in the middle of this division, except it kind of leaks into the top of the division too, because I don't think there's a clear number 1 in this division either.
no,
But as we go on, it's probably gonna be Colorado because
yeah.
we're probably not gonna have any of these other teams in first.
We're
Place,
just gonna say
except
they're
for maybe
all
the
like
next one.
they're all the fourth best in the division,
Yep, pretty much.
except Chicago and
And then
Arizona.
like yeah, and then Arizona, Colorado's like better, but they're also fourth best.
Yeah, they're the
Yeah,
better
okay.
fourth best team. They're the first best, fourth best. You know.
Yes. Everybody's team should be a wild card going to next. Every team in the West should be a wild. Should just go into the playoffs as a wild card. Why not?
Except Edmonton and Vegas.
Yeah, just throw everybody else's names into a hat and just pick the order.
Yeah, that's how you should do the draft lottery.
Gary Bettman standing there with like a top hat. He's just like rolling his fingers around in it.
Yeah, he just takes any American team and puts it in the freezer and grabs it because he knows it'll be colder. The piece of paper.
Just bend, puts a little bend in the corner.
Oh,
How do you,
oh, Gary.
speaking of kind of along the same lines? How do you feel about teams being able to pick their opponents for the playoffs like they do in Europe? In Europe, some European hockey leagues do that.
To pick their opponent?
Yep, like the first seed picks who they play first, and it could be anybody. It could be anybody from 2 to 7.
But you
And
can
then
only
the
pick
next
in the
highest
West,
seed.
right?
Like
I
you
like
pick in
that.
your conference,
I like that.
whatever.
Because then if you're
I'm
like
pretty sure
if you're
yeah.
just so cocky, you could be like, yeah, I'll take the second best team. Let's go.
Could you imagine though, like if you're picked first, like to play the first place team, and you're not like the 8th seed, like how much that would like motivate you to try to kick their ass?
Yeah, dude. Like the social media, like the content for that would be insane.
That'd be great. I think if a
It'll never
league's going to
happen.
do it, it's going to be the NBA, and the NBA is like has already talked about doing something like that. Like it's been in kind of like vague discussions,
You know where else
not
that'd be
anything like
cool?
seriously. But
Like I know, like the NFL, because that's like everything
yeah,
is ego in the NFL.
the NFL is kind of like I've heard like pundits talk about it in the NFL too. Like, but obviously it's getting the most traction in the NBA because the NBA is like willing to try things with their sport, which is great.
Yeah,
And then every other league just takes from them like years later, uh,
yeah,
because it works most of the time. Um, but I think it's super interesting. I forget which European league it's one. There's a European league that does it, and it's really cool, and
yeah.
I
I
like
like
it,
that.
and it's fun. Um, all right, the Minnesota Wild. This is kind of a weird team.
Very weird. They're in the Dubois
Uh,
sweepstakes though, so
yeah, I mean, well, they need a center, so that makes sense.
they do.
As much as I like Joel Eriksson and Ryan Hartman, I they need a center.
They're solid 2 and 3 guys though. Like Ryan
Oh,
Hartman's
for
probably one
sure.
of the better third liners in the league, and
Yeah,
Erickson X one of the better second liners. They just need that
yep.
first guy.
It's kind of like where Montreal was in like 2020 with Deneau as like their number one, where he's like he shouldn't be their number one center. He should be their number two,
Yeah,
and he's
like
like
he's a
one of
top.
the best in the league
He's like
at
20 to
being number
30 in the
two.
NHL at the time,
Yep.
but like he's
Yep.
not our top line center.
Yep. I agree. So yeah, I mean Pierre-Luc Dubois probably isn't a number one line center either, but he's probably better than both those guys at being like a top offensive. Like
He can,
I probably
yeah.
have Joel Eriksson ahead of him ranking wise, but I think Pierre-Luc Dubois fits better as a number one line center, if that makes sense.
Him and Kaprizov and Zuccarello would be so much
Oh
fun.
God, that'd be awesome. Like, what do you think Winnipeg's willingness? Mind you, to be fair, like Dubois is not signing in Winnipeg, but like, do you think they'd be willing to trade him to their division? Like,
Oh yeah, I don't. I
same
don't
with
think
like
that's.
the Shifley thing. Like, if he goes to like Colorado, like I don't know if they want to do that.
They might not want to, but they should do it.
Well, if that's the best offer, you should just take the best offer. It shouldn't matter.
Like you can, if you can get the Wild first,
Mm-hmm.
like, and the Wild have a solid prospect pool. So if you can get like
Like somebody from there.
Addison, Lambos, or
Yeah. Isn't Carson Lambos from Winnipeg?
yeah, he is.
Yeah, there you go.
And just get one of those guys, and then get like Marcus Foligno as a cap dump.
Yep.
Like the Wild will have to
There you
move
go.
out cap for it to work, but
Yeah, for sure.
it
Yeah,
would
I like
be
that.
so much fun.
What
And
if
they'd be instant contenders, I think, after that.
who Minnesota? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They probably won't trade him because like they just won't. But like Marc-Andre Fleury would kind of be an interesting 1 year stopgap in Winnipeg in a
Yeah.
deal like that. I mean, obviously the Wild would have to figure out their goaltending thing, but if they think that Wallstad's ready to come up, they could play Gustafsson and Wallstad as their tandem next season.
Yeah. Or there's always a good cheap backup like available.
Yeah, for sure. Even like a James Reimer or something, just kind of like to fill that gap for a year.
Yeah.
Would be fun. Or Varlamov for a season.
That
But
might
I
be
don't think
too
they're going to move.
expensive.
I think Fleury kind of had his I was traded thing happen. Mind you, Winnipeg's not very far from Minnesota, so it's not like he'd be moving across the country like he did in the Vegas Chicago deal.
Right. I think that was all overblown though. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that was just drama
I
by Walsh.
think a lot of it was just like like they weren't upfront with what was happening with him. That's what mattered more.
Right. Didn't he find out online? I think that was the biggest thing too.
Yeah, like he was just kind of blindsided with it. Same with like the Jonathan Quick thing, right? Like I think if the Kings would have sat down and like told Quick, like, hey, listen, we're thinking about moving you.
Yeah.
This is the situation. I think it would have been better. But yeah, I think that was kind of the big thing. Either way, I think
Speaking of Quick, that would be a good option in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because you just need a guy who can play 30 games. No, you probably need a guy who can play 40. Because Gus would be better served as a 1A than a
I think Gus better served as a
workhorse.
1B, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Right. Like in this current
Pretty
scenario, like you're not gonna go get a 1A. You're fine with Gustafsson, and Wallstead will be your workhorse in a couple of years. So
So Lambos, a first,
Let's
Fleury and Foligno
yeah,
for
Dubois.
Pierre-Luc Dubois and somebody like another roster player back. Maybe like you throw Niederreiter in and then you get like another pick back from the Wild.
Yeah, that might be hard to work. Like you'll need a really cheap guy. So like that, I don't think Niederreiter would
You,
work.
you eat half of Niederreiter's contract and
Can you?
eat half of you eat half of one of their contracts
Yeah, but
and you
Dubois is
get like a
not
second back.
signed, so like you can't
Oh, that's right.
eat
Yeah,
money
okay,
on
fine.
that.
Well, you can sign and trade him.
Right. If it's for a 1 year,
Yeah,
if you get him for 1 year, 7, and but the Jets don't eat salary. Like they've never done that. They hate doing that.
yeah. They've never really had an opportunity to though. To be
Right.
fair, they've never like
That
had
is
to
true.
in a deal. So yeah, you eat half of like Niederreiter's deal, so 2 mil. You get a second. You get Vegas's
Just
second.
throw in another prospect instead. Just make it 2 prospects.
Sure, why not? I
Yeah.
think there's something there. I think there's something there.
That would be like that's good for both teams. Honestly, that's
Yeah,
a
because
win-win.
Fleury kind of replaced. Obviously, that would also include a Hellebuck deal somewhere along the line because you're not trading for Fleury and keeping Hellebuck. But
Oh, that'd be
so
funny
that's
though.
just not happening. But I think yeah, there's something there. And then Fleury's kind of your stopgap for a year. You find a backup somewhere on the market, and then that guy become maybe like a Tristan Jarry, and you throw him in as your like you sign him for 2 or 3 years, and he kind of transitions to you give him a year kind of sitting behind Fleury, and then again, um, and then no Fleury was gone when they brought in Jarry, right? No,
No, yeah, that
no,
was
they moved
Murray.
Murray. Yeah, yeah. So there you go, perfect.
Bring in
Um,
Matt Murray is what I'm hearing right now.
bring in all three of them. Why not?
Get Casey to Smith too. Get him in here.
Hey, they won 2 cups with those three goalies, baby. Do it
Yeah,
again.
it must be the only reason.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with 87 or 71.
No,
But
or 58.
no, not at all. Yeah, I think there's a lot here. Minnesota's kind of a sneaky, interesting team if they can make it work. The money's strange though because they have 9 million cap space right now. They have significant roster needs to fill, but
Yes.
like there's something there. Mason Shaw is kind of the bigger, like he kind of sticks out to me as like the sneaky. We have to get this guy signed, but he's gonna be cheap
Yeah,
guy.
I like Duhaime too. Like as someone who's watched, like I think I watched
Yeah,
75 Wild games this year, and I like Sam Steele looked very good in the playoffs. So I don't think you'll. I think that probably bumped his AAV up a
yeah.
bit.
I don't think they move Addison. I
No,
think they just re-sign him.
they don't really
That's
like
why I think
him. The
Lambos
GM
is
doesn't
more
like him
likely.
though,
Okay, well,
because like he missed one team meeting, so now he's on the bad
fair enough.
books.
Gustav Nyquist kind of interesting too. I could see them re-signing him because he fit really well in that
He
roster, and
Yeah,
he'd be cheap.
if
He kind of fills that
Zuccarello was
bottom
like
six.
going to leave, that's a good Zuccarello replacement because he was doing a good job of setting up Kaprizov.
Mm-hmm. I just kind of like having Nyquist like on the team though. Like just if they can get him for like a year or two,
Yeah,
not saying like more than that, but like I don't think he would go for more than that.
I just wonder how much he would ask because he was making
It's such a weird player
yeah
because like he didn't play for like 2 years,
right
so like I don't know what he could add. But that's what I think it'd probably be like a 1 or 2 year deal,
yeah he was just making 5.5, so I would say like
like
2.5 would be
4.
reasonable. Oh, four?
Okay.
Okay, maybe I'll go
Okay, yeah,
three,
maybe like 3.5. Let's go 3.5.
3.5.
3.5 for 2 years. Sure.
Yeah,
On it. I'm good with that. All right. Where you have are you kind of in that 2 to 4 range like we are with everybody?
yeah. I'm gonna go 2 to 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna adjust my Colorado to 1 to 3 though, because I don't think they're finishing fourth
We
because we
might
have
as well just
nobody
put
else.
Colorado at 1 because
Yeah,
I can't see you putting any of these. Well, maybe I don't know.
I think if the Wild get Dubois, that'd put them over.
Then yeah, things get interesting. But at this point, two
But
to
at this
four seems
point, yeah, they're number 2 to 4.
okay. The Nashville Predators. Surprisingly, a ton of draft picks. Um, especially this year, they have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds,
Oh
and
wow,
3 fourths, and 2 fifths, and a sixth.
Barry Trotz
Um,
masterclass.
and they're drafting it. Oh, David Poyle actually. You got to shout out David Poyle for setting up Barry Trotz
Yeah,
extremely well for this rebuild. As much as I've like ripped David Poyle apart for not committing to a direction over the last like 4 years,
yeah,
he finally did, and they did. He had a surprise. I mean, thank a lot of that to the Tampa Bay Lightning for giving up an entire like year's worth of draft picks, but
right.
they did well. Like that's a lot of capital, especially when you're drafting at home too. I think that kind of played a factor into it.
Yeah,
Um,
that could be it.
you want to kind of like have something to do at
Yeah.
home. So I actually don't see the Predators trading like any of these picks either. I think they keep the 2 first. They pick both. They pick both of those. They probably keep the 2 seconds, and then when you get into the third and lower, that's when I could see them kind of making moves. But I think they pick just because they're at home. They use those first 4 picks,
Yeah, I could see that.
and they should because they need to kind of replenish the prospect cover too.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
little. It's
yeah,
not horrible, but it's not. It's not great. Like Kemmel is good. Svechkov, like they've been good at drafting where they've been the last couple of years.
yeah, yeah.
Like Evangelista, Leroux, Schaefer, Kamel, Svechkov. Like that's solid
Yeah.
on
I
defense.
just they kind of need like that big, like the next star kind of
Right.
guy. They have good depth guys, like good like guys who you can plug
Yaro,
into like.
Slav, Askarov.
Well, yeah,
I'm actually a little like watching Askarov play. Like I think he'll be good, but like he does some really stupid things sometimes.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. He needs kind of that development. I think giving him a year in the NHL at some point in the next year and a half.
Right. And
Um,
maybe Barry Trotz hires Mitch Korn.
yeah,
So
maybe.
all problems are solved.
Yeah. I mean, this team's interesting because obviously, Kevin Lankinen has 1 more year left on his deal, and Soros has 2.
Yeah,
And Askarov is coming up probably by the end of the season. Coming up.
probably. Yeah.
Um, and that's why I think Saros gets moved next summer because they want to see what they have. Like I would honestly send Lankinen down to the AHL and have Askarov as my backup day 1, and then just play him for 40 games, like 35, 40 games to find out what you
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Because then it makes the Saros decision easy. Because if Askarov sucks, then you kind of have to re-sign
But
Saros.
you don't want to Carter Hart it, you know? Like playing him too
No,
early. Because like playing him too early and him getting shit kicked every game. Like if
yeah,
he's not
but I don't
good
think
after
he
the
would
first
on this team
5,
though.
send him down. Like actually.
That's not like I
Like
don't
that's a
think he
small
would
sample
get.
size, but I'd send him down after 5 bad games. Like you don't want to ruin him. And he's been very good in the AHL. So like he could probably contend.
I think that like this team paired with Andrew Burnett, which was a great hire.
Yeah.
I don't think he would get shit kicked. Like I think this team's kind of set up for him to succeed,
Yeah.
despite like the lack of star power. Like they have like the defensive system. I think Burnett's system. By the way, shout out to Roman Yossi, who's gonna have like 80 points next season. Um,
Yeah.
Roman Yossi is my early like dark horse pick for the uh, Norris.
Mine's actually Tyson
If,
Berry, but that's okay.
oh yeah, okay. Well, hey.
Just joking.
Tyson Berry's on my list of guys who somebody's going to overpay for like crazy at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
That's
And
he's
don't take
right.
Fabro.
If I had to like if I had to place a bet on who's going to be number 1 on TSN's trade bait board going to the deadline, it's going to be Tyson Berry because he's going to have like 60 points at the deadline,
Or Pierre-Luc
all in the
Dubois.
power play. Yeah, well, yeah, unless he goes to Montreal and then he signs an extension like tomorrow, and
Yeah.
nobody ever wants him again. Mind you, I think I don't think Dubois necessarily gets traded, especially if he's on like a good. If he does get traded this summer, I don't think he gets moved again.
You think so? I think it
I think
depends.
he hits free agency because I think if he goes somewhere, he's going to go to a team that's good. Like Minnesota's going to be a playoff team, Colorado's going to be a playoff team,
New York's going to
Carolina's
be
going
a
to be a
playoff
playoff
team.
team, New York's going to be a playoff team. Like none of those teams are going to move him at the deadline.
No.
So yeah, like Tyson Berry's kind of the front runner to have a really outrageously like good on the surface season.
Yes. On the sheet.
Yeah.
On the stat sheet.
Yeah. On the base.
The surface level stat sheet. Yes.
You could almost say that he's going to be winning on paper.
Yes, he could say that.
Okay. Give me one target for the Nashville Predators.
One target. See, that's tough because like they don't need a goalie. They probably need a defenseman because they're going to move somebody out.
Yep.
I think.
Mhm.
So this guy's not a free agent, but I think Brett Kulak would be a lot of fun
Okay.
on Nashville. Like you're not going to trade anything really for him. Like, but
No.
I think he'd be a lot of fun in Nashville.
You probably give up the second that Edmonton gave up for him.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Probably from next year. Tampa Bay second or Winnipeg second. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. This is where I like Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah, I could see that.
He kind of fits that second line winger role. He's not like the super. Nashville has never been like a superstar forward market. They've always like focused on having star defensemen. That's just been their MO forever, and I kind of like it. I don't think that should change.
No.
Um, really good goalie and superstar defenseman. That is the Minnesota. That is the Nashville Predator way. And Tyler Bertuzzi kind of fits like almost like the Steve Sullivan, JP Dumont kind of player, where he's like got like some bite to him, and he can score
Yeah.
goals and be like an offensive presence. Like that kind of feels like Martin Erat kind of thing. Like that kind of like it feels like that kind of player. Like he'd fit on that team,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's kind of fun. I like he'd be good, and it's not like the Predators are really locked into any contracts right now. Like you could sign Bertuzzi for 4 years, and he'd be like the forward with the longest term on their roster, which is crazy because the the Duchesne Johansson signings felt terrible at the time, and they're kind of like okay, like they've fought through it and made it work. So good on them.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's with the asterisks that they don't sign UC Saros, who they're going to get a ton of assets for. But what can you do? All right, Nashville, 2-4, 3-4, 3-5.
Three 3 to 6. I'm widening the range here. No,
All
three
right,
to five. 3 to 5.
3-5. Yeah, I don't think you can be that bad because I think Saros stays on the team this season. I picked them to win the division last year too, so I can't be super low on them. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with like. I still think they can kind of have that breakout. Like I think they can kind of be that surprise team in this division. I'm gonna go kind of in like the 2-4 range. I like the Burnett hire. I think that drastically improves them. 2-4. Let's go. Let me be bold on the Predators again. All right, St. Louis and Winnipeg. Let's go with the St. Louis Blues. I was super low on the St. Louis Blues last year, and they stunk. So I'm super happy about that. But I actually kind of like where St. Louis is right now, outside of Jordan Binnington.
Yeah.
Is
And that, my
that fair?
friends, is why you don't lock up a goalie who's not top
Yep.
5.
Yes, sir. But I like where this team's going. I think they should just kind of stick with the direction they're going in, build
Yeah.
around Kyrou and Thomas,
And Verona.
and try to shed one of those defensemen, whether it's Falk or Krug or Parenko. One
I
of
think
those
they can
three
get a
guys.
lot for them, though. One of those guys.
Parenko's contract stinks. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
movable.
But it was
Like
so
I don't
good
know
at
if
the
that
time
contract's movable.
because he was very good at one point.
It was fine. I wasn't super on it at the time either, but I was higher on it than I am now, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah.
like Falk and Krug, Torrey Krug probably has more value. Um, and it's the same move one of those two guys out. Just continue kind of like they don't need draft picks. They need young like 23, 24-year-old players.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of build with like that core that they have already established. That
Yeah.
should be the play.
You want to know what's really funny?
Mm-hmm.
They traded a second for this year and
Mm-hmm.
Jake Wallman for Nick Leddy. Oh, that was a horrible trade at the time, and it's even worse now because
Yeah,
Wallman's
Nick Leddy
actually sick.
stinks.
Yeah.
I still have people telling me that Nick Leddy is good.
I don't
Like
understand that.
he sucks. He's not good.
No, he's not good.
I he hasn't been good since he was like in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't good in Detroit either. And people just like bought into him. I don't know. I don't get it. He wasn't very good with New York either. Like just
Yeah.
he hasn't been good since he won a cup. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know. Stop. Oh, God, he still has 3 years left on their contract. Oh my god. Oh, is it like Marco Scandella on this team? Yeah, he is. It's the most like random player ever.
He's been pretty decent everywhere he goes, though. Marco Scandella.
Yeah, I
I
know.
can admire
He's
it.
like that guy that you can just plug into a lineup and like he's fine. But like he's like the most random player.
Yeah, he is. And he has a modified no trade clause.
Yeah, I know.
7
Hey,
teams.
why not? Um, all right, St. Louis. Who should they go after?
A backup goalie.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Varlamov. So
I,
Bennington can get off the ice.
yep. Yeah, they don't really need like a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I think again, just kind of find like a mid tier like 24-year-old who you can throw into this lineup and like kind of develop with them. Probably a forward because the defense is kind of log jammed, and move Justin Falk or Torrey Krug.
Yeah.
Or Parenko. That's kind of the play. Just stick it out. Don't do anything crazy. Let it kind of develop. There you go. I was right about you last year. Listen to me. Please. And finally, the Winnipeg Jets. Oh, yeah. Where are we seeing them finish? I think like 4-6.
4-6, yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually going 5-6. I don't think they're finishing fourth.
Okay, well, fine. See, now I believe in the St. Louis, the St. Louis Blues. I want that on record. Winnipeg Jets.
Oh wait. Who'd you see as a draft fit for St. Louis and Nashville and Minnesota?
I don't know. Give me names. I don't know. I don't even know where they're picking.
Okay, Minnesota. I have Jaeger.
Okay.
Nashville. Sure. If they're going with pick a defenseman, Pellico would be fun.
Sure. I think they could go forward. I just don't think like.
Yeah.
I think Crystal would be fun in Nashville.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I like that.
I could see that actually.
One of the USDP guys. One of the kind of like Oliver Moore too. I don't know if he'd be available at the time they pick, but maybe he will because he's small and.
Yeah, I have Oliver Moore to St. Louis.
I think that
him and Thomas and Kyrou would be so fast.
Yeah, Crystal
that's what I'm cheering
Nashville,
for.
Moore
is Moore to St. Louis.
Yeah, I can see it. Okay.
The Winnipeg Jets.
Not a ton of draft capital, not a great prospect pool.
Hey, it's not horrible.
And a ton of free agents coming up.
Yeah.
Next season, as well as this year. But more so next season.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pierre-Luc Dubois is like going to get traded.
Yep.
Stenlund and Barron probably get re-signed.
Yep. I think I would like to sign Gagne, but he's probably not going to want to stay.
No.
I like Fialbi.
I really liked Nemestikov in Winnipeg too, but
yeah.
I think he kind of feels like somebody's going to hit the market and sign a 1-year deal with a cup contender.
Yeah. Get rid of Kuhlman and Manalainen and get them the hell out of Winnipeg right now. Please.
Dylan Sandberg needs an extension.
Yep.
And Logan Stanley needs to be rocketed to the moon.
To the Capitals for a third on draft day.
And a backup goalie, and maybe a starting goalie.
Maybe. Carter Hart? Question mark?
I don't mind it. I've been a big like Tristan Jarry to the Winnipeg Jets guy for a while.
I don't hate
That's
it.
kind of where I've been at forever. I don't mind Hart for the same reasons, but I think Jarry's cheaper, and he's a free agent, right? I think so.
Hart or Jarry?
No, Jarry.
Is he a free agent this year?
I think so. Let me pull it up. Yes, he is.
Oh.
That's why I like that move, because I think you move Hellebuck and you bring in Jarry and like kind of like a fringe, maybe like a James Reimer or somebody like that. Like I know I keep bringing up James Reimer, but like somebody that kind of could be like a 1B to Jarry, and you kind of give Jarry like a 2 or 3 year deal, let him kind of see what he can be. 2-year deal probably.
Go Jarry and Mackenzie Blackwood. Heck, why not? Jarry Blackwood.
Sure, yeah. And just see what you have. Like just you have the opportunity now to kind of just like have a transition here.
Yeah. And the Jets,
let
like
those guys, like
I don't know if you've been
you
following.
Can figure out a long-term goalie.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Do you know who Dom DeVincentis is?
I've heard the name before.
Okay, he was a 7th round pick last year. He had a very good D+1 season.
Okay.
So we'll see if that trends, but usually
OHL
goalies don't do that. But
nope. So don't draft OHL Jarry and Blackwood. I like that. I like that pairing.
Yeah.
Really cheap. They wouldn't have to invest a lot of money into it, and you can kind of see what you have. And if one of them turns out to be really good, you can just trade them and then find like a David Riddick type, like fringe backup to be the backup.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Like it gives you that flexibility.
Yeah. Want to hear?
Okay.
This is Dom DeVincentis' draft year stats. Draft +1.
Sure.
48 games, 36-9-2 in the OHL.
Okay.
2.33 and a 919 in the OHL. I think that's very
pretty good.
good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give you names. Tell me if you think they're gonna get traded. Or... Well, tell me if you would.
Yeah. Let's play a little game here. Let's set it up like
like
a game for a clip.
Because I don't. Okay, because I think the question of do you think they'll get traded?
Is
The
very
answer to
vague.
most of these is going to be no.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest.
Okay. Or just give me what you think their fate's going to be, and then what you think they should do. Blake
Yes.
Wheeler
Okay. Blake Wheeler. I think his fate is
is a buyout. I
is a
think buyout is
buyout,
the most likely.
but I think they should retain and try and trade.
I just
Like
don't know if there's a market for him.
retain half. I think Wheeler at $4 million, you could find somebody.
I think there's better. There's 3 better players I'd rather retain on if I'm the Jets.
Okay.
That's the thing. They're not retaining anybody right now, correct?
No.
Okay. I know there's some teams that have like weird, like Minnesota had like 2 retentions like this going into the playoffs. It was strange.
Orlov and O'Reilly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Blake Wheeler, most likely, I think is a buyout.
Yeah.
Connor, they're not going to move. Mark Scheifele, trade.
Yeah, he's getting traded. Yeah.
He should be traded. Now, I think if I had to put money on it, I actually think I'd lean towards he'll get extended. I have a feeling like the Winnipeg Jets are going to offer him an extension.
They'll offer him one, but I think they should trade him. I think he'll say no, actually, to an extension.
Depending on the money.
If you're signing him,
if the Jets come at him with like $8 million, I think he takes it. And I don't
8
think
by
that's
8
unrealistic.
at 30 years old. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think. Okay, but 8 by 6, like 7.5 by 5. Like I think that there's a possibility here that like they offer him something that he just can't refuse. Yeah. And he's a Winnipeg Jet for the rest of his career.
And he said that he did say that would be nice. Like he likes that idea.
They shouldn't do it. They should absolutely trade him.
Trade him,
whatever they can get.
Carolina
but,
yeah. Okay.
Nikolai Ehlers.
He's going to stay, and I think he should stay.
I think he should be traded. Well, I don't know because like based on the time, like he only has 2 years left on his deal. I think roster wise he should be traded, but his value is so egregiously low right now because the team that he plays for doesn't want to trade him or doesn't want to play him, which also tells me that like keeping him is probably not a priority in Winnipeg either.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to swoop in and give like the Devin Taves 2 seconds for Nikolai Ehlers, and the Jets are going to take it.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. It's going to be a late first or 2 seconds, and Nikolai Ehlers will not be a Winnipeg Jet. But I don't think they're actively trying to trade him.
No. Maybe they flip him for Brad.
Niederreiter should be traded.
Should be, but he's going to stay.
Yeah. And I mean, like, he's fine. Like, he fit really well. I like Niederreiter.
Yeah.
I'm not mad if they keep him because I don't think it's valid. I think they probably don't get much more than like the 2 seconds they gave up anyway.
So. They just gave up a second.
Oh, even really? Wow.
Yeah.
Adam Lowry's gonna stay.
Yeah, and he should.
Mason Appleton's gonna stay. It doesn't matter. Now we're getting to the roster. It doesn't matter. Pierre Luc gonna be traded. Okay, that's the forwards. Josh Morrissey should be traded. I'm going to stand on a hill. I'm going to die on the hill that this is going to be the best we see of Josh Morrissey. And the second half of the season was not very good. He should be traded this summer.
He should be, but he won't.
Absolutely not. He won't be. He's going to be the next captain of the Winnipeg Jets. So he won't be traded. But he should be. His value is never going to be higher than this. It's the Dustin Byfuglien thing again, except Dustin Byfuglien abandoned the team. But when they traded Andrew Ladd, I died on the hill. They should have also traded Dustin Byfuglien that season. Because he was like an all-star. He was a top 5 defenseman in the NHL that season. He was incredible. And they didn't. And then he left for nothing. But that's hindsight bias. The point is that they should trade. Like Josh Morrissey went from being one of the worst contracts in the NHL to being a Norris contender for most of the season. It's the same reason why the Sharks should trade Erik Karlsson. Like now. Yeah. Like he should not be on the roster next season. But like more so for the Sharks. But Josh Morrissey should be. I don't think he does this again. The second half of the season kind of indicated towards that. I think that's more realistic to what we get out of him. He'll be like a decent number 2 guy. Probably should be like a number 3 on a really good team.
Yeah.
Trade him. Move him. They won't.
Right.
Nate Schmidt, Neil Pionk, and Brandon Dillon are all kind of in the same thing. If you can move them, do it.
Try to, yeah.
I don't think it's really that big a deal. DeMello, I'd actually kind of hold on to. I like DeMello, and you need some kind of stable defenseman here, and I think his
If
value
you're
isn't very
keeping
high.
Morrissey, keep DeMello, but if you're not, trade him.
Okay, so we're trading the whole team. Dylan Sandberg, you re-sign. Logan Stanley, you trade. Ville Heinola, you trade too. He's done. You don't believe in the guy. You're not going to play him unless you're going to move like two of those defensemen that we just mentioned and not acquire another one. You have to get something for him instead of letting him rot in the AHL. Yes, no.
I see, I love Ville
You should
Heinola.
play him. I love Ville Heinola too, but like the Jets do not like him. Like there's been opportunities that they could give to him that they've given to Nathan Beaulieu instead. It's time to move on.
And
The
Lucas
team does not
Biza.
believe in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team does not believe in Ville Heinola. Just get like a 4th round pick for him instead of letting him walk as a instead of not
See, this is where I'm hoping the
qualifying
sunk
because they're
cost.
not going to qualify him.
No. Well, I think they will. The sunk cost fallacy, I hope, comes into play here, where they're like, "Oh, we spent a first round pick. The first round pick we traded for Jacob Trouba on this guy. He's our next number one." So maybe the
They
sunk
haven't
cost
played him.
fallacy comes into play. Yeah, I know,
It
right?
hasn't already. They haven't used them at all. Just if you're not going to play him,
Yeah.
if the plan is for him to be your 7th best defenseman on their depth chart going to next season, do not have him on your roster.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair to him and it's not fair to your team. Just move him. Just get rid of him.
If you move Pionk and Dylan, play him. Don't trade him. But if you don't, then you should get something.
Yeah. And obviously Connor Hellebuyck, you should trade it, and I feel like he'll be re-signed as well.
I don't think he'll be re-signed.
I think he's gonna get the Carey Price, Sergei Bobrovsky $10 million for 8-year deal till he's 38, and he's gonna retire Winnipeg Jet, and it's gonna be a terrible contract like 3 years from now.
Yeah,
and that's what's gonna happen. But I think they're going to throw as much as they can at Connor Hellebuyck. More so than I think I'm more convinced that Hellebuyck will be a Jet next season than I am about Scheifele.
Really? I think it
Yep.
most likely to get traded ranking right here. Ready? Dubois, Scheifele.
Yes, agree. I'd probably put one of the defensemen ahead of Scheifele.
Okay. This is my ranking, not yours, but you can do yours later.
Like I'm talking like major guys, not like bottom of the. Like I'm talking like Nate Schmidt and Brandon. I'd probably put.
Oh,
Brandon
I thought you were
Dillon.
talking like Dylan DeMello above Scheifele.
No, I'd probably put Brandon Dillon ahead of Scheifele.
Okay, Brandon Dillon I could see. He had a good year.
Yeah, Scheifele would be 3rd for me.
Okay. And then it's Ehlers. No, then it's Hellebuyck. And then Ehlers. Most likely.
Sure. Yeah. But I don't see Ehlers or Hellebuyck getting moved. But yeah. I would say it's more likely. Yeah, I'd put Hellebuyck ahead of Ehlers. But I think it's very likely Hellebuyck gets an extension.
I could see
and it's
that.
going to be like 10 mil. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be 10.5 or even 11 based on the fact the cap's going to go up for 7 or 8 years.
If Scheifele, Dubois, and Hellebuyck get traded on the same day, I will do an emergency live stream. Not emergency, like a parade.
We'll do a spot that night.
We'll do a live stream.
Sure.
We'll get days in there to moderate my feelings.
All right. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Winnipeg, where do you think they finished? Winnipeg is like the most chaotic team because they could be extremely mediocre again. They could be terrible. Or they could try to go all in with this core for one more year.
Yeah.
Like they have the biggest variety. I'm going to say like 1 to 6 is where I could see the Winnipeg Jets finishing.
Okay.
Like realistically, I think this is the team that has maybe the biggest range in the NHL next season, purely based on what they do over the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Because I could talk myself into them ripping it apart and like getting a bunch of like being like Arizona bad. I could see them. Like I could see them trading for a bunch of rentals, kind of like what Columbus did with Panarin, and just trying to go for it one more year before everybody leaves. Or I could see them like trading guys out for players who are like 23, 24 and being like a fringe playoff team. All 3 of those things I think are equally possible, honestly.
Yeah.
Or very close. Like if I had to split it, it'd be like 35, and like whatever the different, like 30, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to I think there's enough or some combination. Like they're all around 33-ish% likely to happen.
Yeah, I could see that. I have
Maybe they
them.
just keep everybody. That's the other possibility too. They just hold on to everybody.
Yeah, I think if they keep everybody there, I don't see them finishing higher than third.
Yeah,
I'm going
for sure.
third to sixth.
Okay. All right. I think that's it.
I think so.
Uh, okay. Where can they find you? I know we already plugged like 3 times in this podcast, but
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and at BroalieTalksHockey. That's where it is.
yep. Instagram, NBI Hockey on Instagram and Twitter, which I'm been less active on, but there's not really a whole lot to talk about right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, Stanley Cup Finals boring. What can I say? It is. I'm sorry. It's not been very good. Um, honestly, like besides the first round, these playoffs have really haven't been that great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's almost like the playoff format isn't very good and doesn't like set up good matchups in the back half of the playoffs. Crazy. Anyway, um, thank you guys for listening and watching. Full videos on YouTube, obviously. Um, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week for whatever division we decide to do. It's kind of a toss up right now. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the Atlantic because we did the Metro first and it bounced back and forth.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a surprise.
All right.